lust is something that a lot of addicts and alcoholics deal with. It's just that once we put the drugs down, we look around us and see like what it is that we can use. And for me, women was one of those things. And I didn't do it right away. I took the suggestion of getting a year clean before I got into a relationship because I really had to focus on me. And I couldn't have distractions, and relationships would definitely have been a distraction for me. So I waited for a year to go out on a date or anything like that because my life was a mess and I had to build a life, and I wouldn't have anything to offer to anybody anyway. So I started dating after I got a year clean, and it was great. I loved it right off the bat, and I went on several dates with different women, but as we started to engage in, sexual relations and all that, like, it became an addiction in itself, and it became out of control, and I felt like it was a way to fix myself. It turned into something that was just like the drugs that gave me that instant gratification. For me, I get this thing inside where I have a spiritual void, and I'm always looking for a way to fill that void. And so, getting with a woman was an easy way to do that. And there's all sorts of manifestations of addiction. It could be video games, it could be food, that's a huge one. In fact, that's one for me too. It could be anything. Anything can become an addiction, but sex is definitely one. Lust, the character defect. I'm looking for something to fill that void. But there's another solution. Well, there is a solution to lust, and that is having some self-acceptance, being okay with me, and feeling that I don't need anything to try to make me feel better about who I am. It goes into kind of like validation, like I feel like I need a woman to like be a man, to try to validate me as a man. But really, what's also extremely important is developing a relationship with the higher power. That ultimately is what's going to fill that void in more of a permanent sense or an eternal sense. Praying, meditating, talking with other fellow addicts, and establishing that connection with a power greater than myself, having a group of people in my life, having spiritual principles, which is something I use as a power greater than myself. Just the process of recovery is a power greater than myself. And so everybody has their own opinion or thoughts about a higher power. I encourage you to find your own higher power. I have my own understanding. You have your own understanding. I mean, I've seen people in recovery that are atheists. So somehow they are able to recover and be atheists. It works for some people. For me, I just use God. I pray to God. I talk to people about God. And I have a really deep personal relationship with God, my higher power. And that's what has helped me. In the past recent months, I have not acted out on the character defect of lust. But I know that I still have the character defect of lust. It will not go away. The acting out of it is the shortcoming. And say if I were to try to use a woman just like I would use a drug, that would be the shortcoming of acting out on the character defect of lust. There's other ways to do it. Pornography is the way people do it. But For me, it's just about being comfortable in my own skin. I have hobbies in my life to where I feel like I don't need to have a woman necessarily in my life or sexual relations. And I can just be comfortable in my own skin and have that connection with the higher power. So, thanks.